the average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television and a number of our radio affiliates throughout Lancaster and Central Ohio. I do appreciate each and every one of you joining us each and every week. And we have guests from within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office and also guests from within Fairfield County. Lots of things going on, and do appreciate each and every one of you joining us. This week, second week in a row is Rob Hamler. He's a sergeant with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, runs the SCRAP team. And SCRAP is an acronym for what?
Street Crime Reduction Apprehension Program.
And that's primarily what you're doing. You're after drugs. You're out here to arrest the bad guys, get them off the street, and take them to jail.
Correct.
And you've been at this since June. A new unit to the Sheriff's Office. Recently, the commissioners approved it, funding to the end of this year, and my sense is they're going to let us continue next year. Biggest surprise that you've seen this summer that's kind of surprised you just going into this thing? And
probably the amount of meth labs that we've located in our county.
Okay.
I didn't think that the problem was as prevalent as it is, and just the amount of opiates that we've encountered.
Now, you work a lot off tips, people calling in, and if someone's out there today and they're watching or listening to us, how do they get in touch with you to share information?
We have a tip line set up. It is 653-5224, extension 111. If you do call in, you can stay anonymous. You don't have to give your name, but I can assure you that your tip will be followed up on. You can also contact us at 740-652-7902.
Okay, and if they just if they can call into any law enforcement agency, and whether it's Lancaster or Pickard, and we'll get the information to you, right?
Correct.
Now, do you get back with them and let them know what's going on?
A lot of times we do. Of course, if they don't want to leave their name or their number, we don't. But if they do call in and say there's a problem in my neighborhood, this is my name, this is my number. If you have any further questions, please contact us. Most of the time we will call them just to maybe get more details as to what the problem is. And then we will touch base with them afterwards to let them know how everything ended up.
Now, as we look back on this summer, can you kind of take us through maybe an investigation that how that kind of started, some things you had to do, and how it ended? I know there's a number of them to choose from.
Yeah, there's just so many. We've received several tips where we've walked up just to knock on the door of a house, just to talk to the person to find out if there is any activity going on. And, we've actually witnessed either marijuana plants growing on the property or smelled chemicals, which, at that time we were able to secure search warrants and go inside the residences and actually located meth labs. We've recovered over 10 meth labs so far since June 11th.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I think a lot of people would be surprised. I know when I first became sheriff, the first year we were in operation, we had about 13 methamphetamine labs in the county. Closed those down, and for all intents and purposes, we kind of thought we kind of took care of that. But it sounds like it's kind of resurfaced. And as you mentioned last week, because they're able to produce this stuff so easily.
Yeah, there's a new method to produce methamphetamine. Some people call it a one-pot method, others call it a shake and bake method. But it's fairly easy to manufacture meth, and you can actually purchase the items at any store. I think that's one of the reasons why the problem has increased in our county.
And you've seen like grow where people are actually growing marijuana in their backyards and fields and all those kind of things.
Well, we actually did ERAD with the Fairfield Hocking Major Crimes Unit about 3 or 4 weeks ago, where we actually flew over the county and we recovered, I believe, 162 marijuana plants.
So is it easy to spot from the air for the most part?
It is once you first see it.
Yeah.
From there on out, it's pretty simple to spot.
So it's in the middle of cornfields. Is this something where if you have a farmer and he has corn, that somebody outside comes in, finds a place and kind of sneaks it in, or is typically the people that own the property part of it, or is it a combination?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay, so there's some folks that may be a farmer and he's got 100 acres of corn and he may not have a clue
That's
that
correct.
somebody snuck into the middle of his
That's
field and
correct.
plant marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So marijuana, is it just like corn or any kind of plant? There's a certain period that takes to
Primarily, a lot of people, what we're seeing is in the colder months, they'll actually start growing them inside with the high grow system. And once in the springtime, when the temperature starts to change, they'll actually take them from inside and replant them outside.
Yeah. Now, you've been on the sheriff's office how long?
13 years.
13 years. And certainly it's changed a lot in 13 years as far as when you first became a deputy, you didn't see these kind of things. As far as what was the common drug 13 years ago in Fairfield County that you saw a lot of?
Marijuana and underage drinking.
Okay. So it's a whole generation of people that are addicted to these things.
Yeah, I had not even experienced heroin until probably or encountered heroin until maybe 2005, 2006, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I know that even looking back on my career, which goes a long, long way back, and I was a policeman in Washington, D.C., you would see in the inner city, you would see some heroin users, and they would just be like sitting on the curbs. They would be nodding off, and some of these people were older.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really didn't see it outside of that group. Where today we see it probably for the first time in the history of our country, you have a lot of these young people, some of them just out of high school, that now become hardcore heroin addicts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real change in the dynamics.
I agree. It seems like we've encountered more, as early as junior high. Sometimes kids are starting to experiment with these drugs.
And especially the pills. And I think that's a good point to talk about. If you have a medicine at your home and you're taking some kind of an opiate for pain, which a lot of people do, and there's a lot of legitimate use for these. They do a very good job for cancer patients, for people who are in chronic pain, to get through these things. But typically what will happen is many times young people will be at their grandparents, they'll get into the medicine cabinet and start taking the pills.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's why parents, grandparents, make sure that this stuff is locked up, it's not accessible. And even a number of our burglaries, that's the first place they go. They go right to the medicine cabinet to see if there's any opiates in the medicine cabinets.
And one of the theories behind the scrap unit is if we take enough of the drug dealers and the drug users off of the street, we're hoping to see a reduction in our burglaries and our thefts and other crimes of that nature.
Yeah, and I've said it many times, my guess is, and you might have even a better sense of this, it seemed to me probably 85% of our theft-related offenses, where they're breaking in cars, where they're burglarizing houses, is to support drug habits.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so it just makes sense that if we can go ahead and take care of that part of the equation, we'll go ahead and cut down on the criminality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on a personal note, you've had to this is probably one of the more challenging jobs you've ever had with the sheriff's office, isn't it?
I would say it is, yes.
Okay. Biggest challenges?
I would say the biggest challenge is most officers or deputies are used to being told where to go and what to do. You're basically dispatched to a call to investigate a crime, or if you're a detective, you're assigned a case and you're told to investigate this crime. The difference is we actually have to generate work.
Okay.
We're not told where to go and what to do. We actually go out, hit the streets, talk to people, follow up on tips, and then try to lead that into something bigger and better.
Okay.
So the majority of the work that we've done has been self-generated or from the tip line. But we've been pretty successful so far.
So it's very important to our listeners and viewers out there, if you have information about criminal behavior, if you see a lot of activity in and around a particular property, and sometimes it's disproportionate as far as a lot of it we see it in rental property. And every couple of years we do a program that I actually put on called How to Keep Illegal Activity Out of Rental Properties. And certainly as we get ready for that next one, you probably need to be a part of that, because it's important that landlords understand how to do good applicant screening, to do home inspections before they rent to someone, what the warning signs are of drug activity, and then probably more importantly, how to work with us, how to start an eviction to get those people out of the property, or certainly get them in jail. And so I guess I'll speak to landlords out there. If, again, you can be part of the solution. If you have suspicions of a tenant that's doing this, let us know. And again, as you mentioned earlier, Sarge, that this stuff can be anonymous.
That's correct. You don't have to leave your name. You don't have to leave your phone number if you don't want to.
Right.
You're more than welcome to just call the tip line and just relay the information. The only downfall to that is we won't be able to contact you to follow up.
Right.
Or if we still have any questions relating to the investigation, we don't have a contact number for you. But we would rather have you call in an anonymous tip than not receive a tip at all.
And if you look at the entire county, and you look at Lancaster, what are the percentages as far as maybe drug activity and stuff? Do you see it throughout the county, or is it more concentrated in Lancaster or certain areas?
I think that there's a problem in every township of our county.
All right.
I think that anytime and most generally your county seat, which is the city of Lancaster, it is the highest populated area, and that's probably where you do see the majority.
Okay.
However, people are coming from the county into the city to purchase their narcotics, take them back out into the county. But we are not only focused on the city of Lancaster, although we do some work in the city of Lancaster. We're trying to focus on the entire county.
Now, the drugs that come into our county, most of it come out of Columbus?
I would say the majority of it does. I think some of it's coming from Zanesville, Circleville, but I would say the majority of it is coming from Franklin County.
Okay, so you do a lot of work as far as the 33 corridor into our community, traffic interdiction, those kind of things?
Yes, we do.
And if someone calls in and they can give you a tip of a car or something, what time they're coming in, we're going to be out there looking for them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great information. 13 years in the sheriff's office. Some of you were a patrol sergeant for a number of years, and that's kind of where you came from?
Yeah, I was a patrol deputy, a jail deputy. I've worked as a patrol supervisor and a jail supervisor.
Okay.
Prior to the scrap unit.
Okay. And the other thing, you work a lot with the other deputies and other municipalities throughout the county, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, scrap team doing a good job. We were into our we started it last year, and due to funding, we had to eliminate it once school was over. So this year, funded fully. Things of the future, and I know it's kind of a day-to-day operation, as you said. You have to generate, but where do you see the scrap team maybe 4, 5, 10 years from now?
I hope to still be plugging away.
Okay.
I can tell you that since we've started this program, there's actually other counties or agencies that are looking at the program, and because of our success, they're looking at maybe starting their own scrap units.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it? And again, I really appreciate the Columbus media, because anytime that we're on one of these TV programs, we reach hundreds of thousands of people. It generates tips. It's good to let the community know what we're doing. But I think the other message it does is it sends these drug dealers a message that, you know, if they come to Fairfield County, we are going to do our dead level best to put them in the penitentiary. So I think every time we get a story out there, I think there's that tone out there that we want the drug dealers to know that we're going to work very hard to put them in prison.
I agree. We have a zero tolerance in our county.
Yeah, and I think to give our judges some credit, this is can be a little bit tougher place than some of the other counties in Ohio as far as their sentencing practices, because they can be pretty tough on some of these folks.
I agree.
Well, we're just about out of time. Again, before we go off the air, Sarge, give our viewers and listeners the telephone number if they have any tips, any suspicion. No tips too small, and we're going to look into them. What number can they get a hold of you or the scrap team?
Area code 740-653-5224, extension 111, or 740-652-7902.
And again, if you want to, if you didn't get that, or if you're in the car driving or something as you're listening to this program, call into the sheriff's office. We will pass that on to scrap. Call into Lancaster Police Department, Pickerington. We will get the information to the scrap team. In fact, I get a number of personal calls every week that you get little notes from me, and then we follow through on it.
Right.
Appreciate you being here.
All right, thanks.
Sergeant Rob Hamler with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Scrap Team is doing a great job along with all the deputies, and we do appreciate Chief Dave Bailey with the Lancaster Police Department partnershiping with us with the scrap team. It's a big part of that program. Chief Taylor in the Pickerington area letting us use one of his detectives. So it's a great program, and we're going to have Sergeant Hamler on periodically to update the community about what is going on with drug trafficking, drug usage, and those kind of problems in Fairfield County. Well, the clock on the wall says we've got to go. I do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners, and again, the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy, the students that produce this program. They do a terrific job. It's a professionally produced program, and if it was not for Fairfield Christian Academy, we would not be able to have this program. Until next week, same time, same place. If you're out there driving, buckle up. God bless, and we'll see you right here.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.